better, I suppose, right? That is better than this, right? Boo boo. How's it going, everybody? It's Mike with This Old Hot Rod. You're watching This Old Hot Rod on YouTube, as you know. Started this YouTube channel about 3 years ago, I think. I started it off working on my 34 5-window coupe, pulling that thing out of a barn. And I started with an iPhone and a $10 app called iMovie. That first video that I posted up dragging that coupe out of the barn and onto my trailer took off, and it did pretty good right out of the gate. 100,000 views. Everyone loves the 34 5-window. Well, I worked on that car for a long time, and we went up to a race in Maine and raced a flathead only race, and I got hooked and wanted to build a flathead powered hot rod. So last year I started building the 27 Roadster with a flathead V8 in it. That build took me a year. And at that point, the subscriber count was going up. I had a lot of videos I had done, sometimes 2, maybe even 3 a week at times, when work allowed. And now here I am, 3 years later. I'm working on this piece of garbage, just for the fun of it and to kind of move it along, as you guys know. And I just last night hit 10,000 subscribers. And I always wondered, when are people going to stop subscribing? You know, like how long will it take where people just aren't interested? And I said to myself, maybe 10,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd have 5,000, you know, and here it is now, 10,000. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of people out there that appreciate what I'm doing. Just a regular guy. I have a regular job, and I've never been trained or anything to do this stuff. I didn't know how to weld even when I bought my first hot rod in pieces. I didn't even know how to weld. So it's been a journey, to say the least, and it's been a lot of learning and trials and tribulations and mistakes and redos and a lot of successes along the way. And it's been pretty cool. So what I'm working on right now is the gas tank. I'm trying to get this gas tank out. They're kind of a pain in the butt, especially on a car this bad. It's hard to access. There's clips underneath. There's 2 clips on the sides of the gas tank. They're bolted, but they like pinch, and they pinch the gas tank, and there's a structure on the firewall together, and they hold it together with those bolts. Well, it's really hard to get to them, and I'm trying to get to them. I sprayed them down with penetrating oil. I'm letting those soak, but for the time being, I grabbed my Eastwood screw buster. If you guys have never seen one of these, or if you've seen them and weren't sure what they were, they make a screw impact screwdriver thing. You hit it with a hammer and you turn it. This is that on steroids times 100, and it is well worth its money. They have these little tips. They're very specific to this particular tool. Eastwood sells these tips, but they sell them in like a multi-tip bag or pack, and they're kind of expensive. I went online and did a bunch of research, and I found out that this is a 5/16 flathead impact screwdriver bit. I ordered them, and I think I got them from like England or somewhere like that. I posted up a couple years ago or a year ago when I got this tool on. I posted it up on my YouTube page, or I posted a link in the video, and people started messaging me a day or 2 later saying that the company had sold out on their eBay because everyone that watched the video had been buying them, which was crazy. So I'll have to post up another link after I get done editing this video in the comments. I'll post a link and you guys can go buy these tips if you need them. The reason why is if you were to just hold it right like this and pull the trigger, this tip goes flying out. And they're small and you lose them. So right away, right out of the gate, I lost the first one and I said, man, I gotta order some. And then when I went on Eastwood's website, they only sell the multi-pack of like 5. But you can buy a bag of these from England or wherever it is for like $15 for like a bag of 10. And since I have those, I haven't, you know, I've lost a few, but I found them afterwards when I was cleaning up, but I'm not without it. So once you start using this tool, especially on these early Ford cars, there's a lot of flathead screws and bolts, and you can't always get them out. You need this tool. So check this out. You put it on a screw that's stuck in the cowl. I'll move you guys close so you can see. I know a lot of you guys have already seen this tool. You know what it's all about, but some people haven't. So right like that. I pulled the trigger and let it vibrate a little bit. It vibrates a little bit, and then the screw starts loosening up, and then you turn it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that's it. I don't think there's another way. I don't think there's another tool on the market that anyone sells that works like this tool does. There's no other way to get those out besides drilling them. I don't. Let me move the light so we can try to get a better shot. See that better? Yeah, there we go. The light was kind of screwing it up. Right here. If you're a guy or girl that has early Fords, into early Fords, or works on early Fords, and you don't have one of these tools, you are making your life way harder than it should be. You have to buy one of these. It's called the Eastwood Screw Buster. I modified mine a little bit, and I'll show you, tell you why I modified it, and show you how I did it. So what I ended up doing, typically this is threaded on and it's a collar. This collar goes around the shank and then this threads on and tightens up against it. It always vibrates loose. Every time, without fail, vibrates loose. So I just screwed it in place. I put a tack on this side, a tack on that side, and then I tack welded the actual collar to the shank. It won't loosen now. And it still works exactly how it's supposed to. So I already did the other ones on that side. I still have to take a few of the screws out, but let's just do this side and work our way around. I got this one. There's one missing here. It looks like someone broke it. So there's 1 here, 2, and 3. This one's pretty crusty, so we'll see. So I first saw Matt on Iron Trap using this tool. He's actually the only person I've ever seen use this tool on YouTube. He recommended it, so I bought one. Oh boy, there must be a backer on this one that's maybe broken, I'm not sure. Grab a pair of vice grips. Now I don't know if those are gonna stay on there with the vibration, but they might. Let's try it. Came out. So there's a D nut on the back side of these. Most of the time they're welded, but that one had broken. And the reason why they call them D nuts is because they're shaped like a D. D nut. Not D's nuts, D nut. Big, big difference. I'll get one more on this side, then I'll go back to the other side and get the other ones out.
Birds are waking me up. I never knew how good they're able to sing. Soft, cool.
Got my tire irons slash pry bars. So I gotta somehow get to these clamps on the side. I'll show you on this side. Show you what they look like. I think this passenger side is in such rough shape that they're irrelevant. Can you see that? These are like pinch clamps. There's two of them. One there and one there. Two on each side. This one, everything's completely rotted. It's just totally gone. So they're loose. The driver's side is still connected. I'm gonna maybe try to get like a big screwdriver in there and pound it in with a hammer and just try to spread them open a little bit. Maybe they're so rusty they'll break, I hope. This side isn't as rusty as the passenger side, so it's not falling apart as much. Let me see what tool I have. I think I don't think I can get a cutoff wheel in there. Let me see, I'll figure something out. I'll be back. So this is one of them. This is what they look like at a side view. What I ended up doing is I just got this pry bar in there. I got it in between and then I just opened it up and it fell down. So I gotta still do the other one. Hopefully this gas tank will come out. That was the easy one to get to. Not to mention that one, this one's in worse shape. There we go. That bolt just snapped. So old and rusty. Alright, so I guess in a perfect world, I think this thing should come out. I hate this shit. Garbage. Well, that's good, I guess. Oh man, what a can of worms. What a can of worms. Alright, well that was fun. Like I said, this tab's here for that little piece of trim that goes underneath the windshield on top of the gas tank. It's not supposed to stay attached to the gas tank, but this one did. Well, now's a good time to leave the gas tank off when I put the motor in. It's full access. Make my life a little bit easier for once. Let's start getting these cowl panels addressed. These things usually aren't that bad. Just shows you how bad this car is. Just in really poor shape. I mean, the brackets themselves aren't too bad. They can be reused, but you know, it's just sad. Well, I still got to get the gas tank out of the donor. The donor cowl. I'm gonna get this screw off of here. Just cut that with a Sawzall. And that's it. Besides that, there's a whole, rivet. There's rivets and there's a whole bunch of spot weld. And they're very difficult to see. So I think what I'll do is I'll get my little whizzy wheel and I'll run down the front edge of the cowl. When you sand this off, and this wide band area here, when you sand that off a little bit, you can see the indentations. You can see the indentations of where the actual spot welds are, so you have access to them. The problem with removing old cowl sides is I have to cut those spot welds out, and I'm gonna leave big holes, and that kind of stinks, because then I'm just gonna have to fill them. I don't want to buy cowl sides for this car because they're like $200. And I don't know anybody that has a spare 3031 cowl with good cowl sides. So here I am, rebuilding it. you know, on this one, all the way down on the bottom here, there's a little bit of belt line. I don't know that I could weld to it, but I may just cut this off right here and leave this. You know, that would be the smart thing to do. I don't always do smart things, hence this project. Because as rusty as this is, it's solid. It's just from the bottom hinge down that's bad, and that is all incorporated in a patch panel. See, guys, like this car is going to keep evolving like this. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do until I get into things. And this is a perfect example of that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump online. I'm going to order a pair of patch panels even though I didn't want to. But fixing this with a patch panel is a lot smarter than cutting this entire cowl side out, having to cut that cowl side out, and then do the same thing on the passenger. Or maybe I'll try to build one. We'll see. All right, let's just jump over the passenger side, I guess, and I don't have much choice over here. This one's just bad. All over the place. I mean, if you can't tell, you can't tell. I think I'm just going to cut down this front edge where the cowl band would go. Leave this piece connected because it's all spot welded in. And then remove it from my donor cowl. And see where I'm at. If I order a patch panel for that side, it's automatically going to come with two. So therefore, I'll have patch panels if I choose not to do them. And just leave them with the car and let the next person do them. Maybe I'll go that route, but this is going to need the whole thing. So let me get my cutoff wheel. I'm going to zip down there. This is my donor cowl. Remember, guys, I told you I have another cowl that's really nice. This is it. I gotta get the gas tank out. This gas tank's in worse shape than my other one is, than the one on the car. It's kind of a surprise. Alright, let me get these side clamps off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the exact same thing I did to the other one to this one. So I got 4 bolts on the back, all these screws and the clamps on the side. It's gonna take me a little while. I'm probably gonna shut the camera off because it's just gonna suck. And you guys don't need to watch me do this again. Yeah, this is all rotted right through. Yeah, that's it. Alright, I'll be back. I got the gas tank out of my donor cowl. This is the piece of metal that I need. So I have to do my best to try to remove this piece of metal without damaging it too much. I'm going to do the same as I did on that piece of metal. I'm just going to cut it a little bit further over, a blade width over, so it should compensate for the blade width I cut out of this one. Yeah, all right, let's just get right into it. So my plans may change again. I don't know. It's highly likely. This is how they do it on TV. So that's my new cowl side. The only other downfall now is it's rotted here. I didn't have the metal to go further up. So there's a bolt. I'm going to use that as my locator. So I'll put another bolt in there. If not, I'll get that bolted in place. I'll get all this welded. I'm going to weld my floor structure first before I do that. I need to obviously get all the metal cleaned up on the A-pillar, get the butting edges of this metal cleaned up, And then once this is in place, I'll get all that cleaned up. I'll then remove any of the bad. It's literally an inch. So I'll cut this inch off and then I'll just scab in a piece there. I am gonna order patch panels. I'll do the patch panels on the Cowl. It's getting there. I mean, it looks better, I suppose, right? That is better than this, right? Boo boo. Get that off of there. This is my little locator. Like I said, I'm gonna get all this cleaned up first. Obviously, I won't weld it from the hinge down because this is where the patch panel is gonna be. But I'll get all this cleaned up, all this metal cleaned up best I can. I'm not gonna go crazy. Again, it's an old ratty car, and get everything tacked and welded in place. And that'll be it.
I just lost my phone. And I don't know where to go. No, my friends are getting stoned. Somewhere on a boat. Though I feel alright, by a drifter's side, strangers on the go. That's all I have to know.
So that's it, another day, another project checked off the list. We'll wrap up this video. Want to say thanks to everybody for following along. It's very humbling that a lot of people are watching what I do. It always has been since I started my YouTube channel. And it's no different now than it was then. Thanks to everyone who's following along. Thanks for all the support. I appreciate it. Thanks for the encouragement on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'll finish up the welding on the side of the Cowl at some point. I'm not going to videotape it. It's not very interesting. It's just a time-consuming process. It's hard for me sometimes to stop. It's hard for me to know when to stop. I just want to keep going because I'm kind of enjoying it, you know. But truthfully, I probably shouldn't keep going because I'm just spending time and spending money. So that being said, a little bit of finished welding on the side of the Cowl. I'll get that other piece scabbed in at some point. Maybe I'll get to work on the windshield header, on the roof header on the front. Probably do that. That'll be nice to kind of get that buttoned up and taken out of there. There's a lot of bolts and stuff where all the wood kit and all the wood used to be in this car. They're all still in here. So I'll probably kind of like cut all those out, get all the loose stuff off the car. There's just so many things to do. So a lot of people said I'm going to keep tuning in because I want to see the next episode and see, you know, see this thing come together and see this little car, a little hot rod evolve. I think it's evolving pretty good. I'm proud of myself. It's coming together quick. I hope at some point this will be someone's dream car. Sounds kind of crazy, but you know, it's kind of crazy. I have the opportunity or the option to put in a flathead V8 or a 1960 Chevrolet 283 small block with a 2-speed power glide. That is kind of the ultimate early overhead valve motor that you could put into one of these cars. Minus an Olds or a Caddy. I don't want to spend the money on those. The motor that I purchased was $300. Motor and transmission. And it is complete. And when I say complete, it is complete. It's got everything. The generator, the belts, the starter, the entire transmission. It was removed one afternoon on a Sunday or a Saturday, and I went and picked it up the next day. It wasn't on the ground for 24 hours. It came out of an Arizona car. It came out of a 1960 Impala. It was a sport coupe. It was purchased in Arizona in 2017, shipped out here, and the guy had been driving it. He just decided to pull the motor out because he bought a 6-liter LS and he's going to do an LS swap with a 4L60E transmission. So that came out. I bought it the next day, kind of thinking I might put it in this car because I think it will be a great little motor and transmission for this car. I think it would be the perfect setup for an early hot rod. This could potentially be a Northeast Vintage Drags starter kit. I'm bringing this thing to a point where it shouldn't really take very much to finish it for the next person. And there's no reason, if I were to finish this thing up within the next couple of weeks, that someone could take it sometime by the end of January, and by May, this thing should be driving down the street. Most of the fabrication, all the welding will be done. It will just be kind of tying things up, connecting all the little components, fuel system, brakes, wiring, things like that. Alright everyone, well, I could keep going on and on, as you know, so thanks again. I appreciate everybody following along. It's very humbling that a lot of people are following along and watching the videos. Everyone seems to love this little working man's hot rod budget build type of deal. I think this is episode 9 or 10. They're going quick. Some are longer, some are shorter. It's just the way it goes. I think you guys all understand that. You appreciate it regardless. We'll see you on the next episode. This old hot rod. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.